The history of comic book series adapted for television is a long, intricate continuum of artistic reinvention, industrial experimentation, cultural negotiation, and narrative evolution, stretching from the earliest days of broadcast media to the era of global streaming platforms. Across decades, each major adaptation has contributed to shaping the language of superhero storytelling on screen, influencing not only how audiences perceive comic book characters but also how television itself constructs serialized narratives. From the mid-20th century onward, comic book adaptations have served as a mirror reflecting technological progress, shifting social values, and the changing expectations of viewers who increasingly demand complexity, continuity, and emotional depth from their on-screen heroes. Early television adaptations such as The Adventures of Superman in the 1950s were foundational in establishing the idea that comic book heroes could thrive in a weekly episodic format. These early series were constrained by limited budgets and primitive special effects, yet they succeeded in presenting superheroes as accessible figures within domestic entertainment. The 1960s Batman series starring Adam West marked a dramatic stylistic departure, embracing camp, humor, and exaggerated aesthetics. Although tonally distant from the darker comic book interpretations, it demonstrated that television could reinterpret comic book material in ways that resonated with mainstream audiences, creating a cultural phenomenon that shaped public perception of Batman for generations. In the 1970s and 1980s, series like The Incredible Hulk introduced a more grounded, emotionally driven approach to superhero storytelling. By blending human drama with science fiction, these adaptations showed that comic book characters could inhabit genres beyond traditional action-adventure, expanding the possibilities for future adaptations. Wonder Woman was one of the most important live-action television series in the history of comic book adaptations. Starring Lynda Carter in the 1970s, it introduced a female superhero as a symbol of strength, independence, and feminist representation at a time when nearly all televised heroes were men. The series blended light action with social messaging and turned Wonder Woman into an international cultural icon. It also proved that a comic book character could succeed on television for an extended period, influencing fashion, shaping the cultural image of female heroism, and redefining how women were portrayed within the superhero genre. Power Rangers, although not based on classic American comic books, became one of the biggest television phenomena of the 1990s and was deeply influenced by comic-style aesthetics. It combined footage from Japanese Super Sentai shows with original American storylines, creating a unique format built around a colorful team of heroes with distinct identities, special abilities, and giant robots. The 1990s and early 2000s brought further diversification. Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman reframed Superman through romantic comedy, while Smallville revolutionized the genre by focusing on Clark Kent's adolescence, long before he became Superman. This indirect adaptation strategy, emphasizing character development over superhero spectacle, proved that comic book mythology could be reimagined in ways that appealed to new demographics. Smallville's success influenced later series, including Arrow, which launched the Arrowverse, a sprawling interconnected universe of DC television series. The Arrowverse demonstrated that television could sustain a multi-series comic book universe with crossovers, shared continuity, and intersecting storylines, echoing the serialized nature of comic books themselves and proving that audiences were eager for long-form, interconnected storytelling. The rise of streaming platforms, especially Netflix, marked a transformative moment in the evolution of comic book adaptations. Netflix recognized the potential of comic book properties as foundations for mature, serialized narratives and embarked on one of the most ambitious television experiments of the decade, the creation of the Marvel Netflix universe. Unlike the cosmic, large-scale Marvel Cinematic Universe, Netflix focused on street-level heroes navigating corruption, trauma, and urban violence. This grounded approach produced a distinct tonal identity, darker, more realistic, and psychologically complex, reflecting a shift in audience expectations toward more nuanced portrayals of heroism. Daredevil, 2015, served as the cornerstone of this universe, portraying Matt Murdock as a flawed, morally conflicted hero struggling to maintain integrity in a corrupt environment. The series' long, unbroken fight sequences became iconic, emphasizing physicality and realism. Daredevil demonstrated that a comic book adaptation could be cinematic, sophisticated, and emotionally layered, setting a new standard for grounded superhero storytelling. Jessica Jones expanded the boundaries of the genre by confronting sexual trauma, psychological manipulation, and post-traumatic stress directly. The villain Kilgrave became one of the most chilling antagonists in comic book television, and Jessica's journey positioned the series as a groundbreaking exploration of survival, agency, and resilience. Beyond the core Marvel universe, Netflix attempted to build additional comic-based universes. The Umbrella Academy became a major success, blending dysfunctional family dynamics with apocalyptic stakes and eccentric characters. Although it did not expand into a broader universe, it proved that independent comics could become distinctive, high-quality television. Jupiter's Legacy was intended to launch a universe based on Mark Millar's works, presenting a multi-generational superhero narrative. However, mixed reception led to its cancellation after one season, and the project was restructured into other series such as Super Crooks. Adaptations like Lock and Key and Sweet Tooth showcased rich comic book worlds but did not evolve into interconnected universes. Netflix's greatest challenge was licensing. As Disney prepared to launch Disney+, it began reclaiming rights to Marvel characters, preventing Netflix from completing its long-term plans. Several series were cancelled or concluded prematurely, and the characters were later integrated into Marvel's broader ecosystem. Despite these obstacles, the Netflix comic book universe remains one of the most influential adaptations in television history. Its mature tone, thematic depth, and grounded realism reshaped expectations for comic book storytelling on television. It demonstrated that comic book adaptations could be psychological dramas, political thrillers, or social commentaries. Not only action-driven spectacles. The Netflix universe also influenced the industry by proving that television could sustain complex, serialized comic book narratives independent of film franchises. It highlighted the importance of cultural diversity, gender representation, and social relevance in modern adaptations. Ultimately, the Netflix comic book universe was an ambitious, innovative, and transformative experiment that succeeded in redefining what comic book television could be.